There it is. How's that? Hey, good evening. It is Thursday night. I'm in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Behind me is the Coeur d'Alene Resort. And we don't have a very good view in our room, so can't show you the lake. Iron Man's going to be here this weekend. So here's what I'm talking about today: agree, disagree. Interesting concept for you to ponder. And this speaks to our listening, how we listen to other people, and whether or not other people can be a contribution to us. So when you and I are listening to other people, when we're talking to other people, we're engaged in other people, we listen through these filters. And there's lots of filters we listen through, but the ones I'm going to talk about tonight briefly are agree, disagree. What does that mean, agree, disagree? It means that, so I'm talking to you right now, and what I'm going to be talking to you about is how you listen and how you don't listen, and the filters that you listen to. We all do. And whether or not when I'm talking to you, are you agreeing with me or are you disagreeing with me? So this is like a filter that we listen through. So I'm talking to you tonight about agree, disagree. And what I want you to think about is, how are you listening to me? Are you listening to me through the filter of, oh, I agree with what he's saying? Or are you listening to me through the filter of, oh, I don't agree with what he's saying? Now notice how if I consistently say things on my daily dose of salt that you don't agree with, what are you probably going to do? You're probably going to quit listening to me, right? And those of you that continue to listen to me, you probably continue to listen to me because you agree with things that I say. They resonate with you, right? But here's the gold. We tend to listen only to people that we agree with. And people that we agree with, they tend to think consistently how we think. Maybe not the exact same things, but we're in alignment, right? So if you and I are pretty similar in alignment, how much of a contribution can I really be to you in terms of a breakthrough? What I want you to think about is, where does a breakthrough come from? Where do we have a quantum leap in our thinking, in our perspective, in our beliefs, in our performance? We have quantum leaps when we have a big breakthrough in our thinking. And where do you think you're going to get the biggest breakthrough in your thinking? Listening to somebody that you agree with? Or how about listening to somebody you don't agree with? Right? Because if all you're doing is listening to somebody you agree with, then your performance in life is probably going to be pretty consistent with who you're listening to and your own performance, because they're kind of on the same wavelength because you agree. How do you have a breakthrough there? Well, you could. But where you're most often to have breakthroughs, folks, is listening to people that you don't agree with. Think about it this way. How many times have you been wrong in your life? Like dead wrong, like so wrong. Like you fought for a belief or a conviction or a philosophy or a fact. You fought for it. You argued for it, only to find out years later you were dead wrong. So this would be a great place to drop something in the chat. Have you ever argued for something? Like convincingly argued for it, took a stand for it, only to find out sometime later, a week later, a month later, a year later, 10 years later, oh my gosh, how wrong were you? If you can think of what it was, put it in the chat. What did you used to believe that you don't believe anymore? What did you used to believe that you don't believe anymore? And where would you get the shift if it were not for people you don't agree with? Something to think about. We tend to gravitate towards people we agree with. People we agree with? Not so much. What if we were to develop the tolerance of listening to people we don't agree with? Looking for the gold, looking for the possibility, looking for a way to shift. Now, sometimes when we listen to people we don't agree with, what it does is it just cements our existing convictions. Oh, I understand now why I don't believe in this person or their approach or their viewpoint. Good thing I'm watching them so I can get clear on how much I disagree with them. But that is, again, listening for agreement, disagreement. So what I'm encouraging you to do is listen to people you don't agree with, but then also pay attention to your filter. And instead of listening for agreement, disagreement, how about you just listen for possibility? Listen for possibilities. What if? What if what this person was telling me were true? What if my life could have a quantum leap if I knew something that this person knew? Listen for possibilities. Listen to people you don't agree with, and look for the breakthrough. Let me know what your experience is. What did you used to believe in, you don't believe in anymore, and it gave you a breakthrough in life? Put it in the chat, put it in the comments, share this if it had value. Let me know if you're watching the replay.